Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association Special Workforce Webinar, exclusive opportunity to find seasonal staff, housing, and endless resources through Seasonal Connect. I'm Gani Jimenez, Vice President of Operations and Industry Relations of the AZLTA, and I thank you all for joining us today. I'm excited to welcome today's special guest. We have with us Keith Pabian, Founder and CEO of Seasonal Connect, and Carly Eglin, Founder and Chief Operating Officer of Seasonal Connect with us this afternoon. Keith and Carly will discuss utilizing Seasonal Connect as a solution to staffing and other major seasonal problems. If you have any questions, just a reminder about their presentation or demo, please type them in the Q&A box at the bottom. They will be doing their best to monitor those questions there. And then last but not least, Seasonal Connect is offering an exclusive discount to AZLTA members, which you will be hearing more about in the webinar. We will also be sharing this information on our website on azlta.com. With that, I will turn it over to them because they have great information for you. And please join me in welcoming Keith and Carly.
Thank you so much, Karine. Thanks so much, Ricardo. And for all of you for allowing us to talk and be part of your amazing association. We have been so excited for this day to come so that we can truly kick off our work with all of you in Arizona and really give you an opportunity to have a solution for such a big crisis right now. So as Karine was saying, my name is Keith Pabian. I'm the CEO of Seasonal Connect, and Carly Eglin is my partner in Seasonal Connect and the COO. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about what led us to starting this. We're going to give you some education on what we're hearing and seeing from the staffing crisis and hopefully giving you some solutions beyond just Seasonal Connect. We're then going to talk about the platform and show you inside of it a little bit. We're actually going to do a live demo for you. We're then going to talk about our partnership with the Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association, and then we'll leave time for questions at the end. So with that, let's get started. What I'm going to do first is rather than us droning on and on about Seasonal Connect, we thought that a 60-second cartoon video might keep your attention a little bit better and be a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to play this video. It gives you a really high-level overview of what this is, and then we'll keep going from there.
If you're a seasonal employer, you could feel all alone in the challenges you're facing. Overwhelmed by recruiting and unable to find workers. Buried in housing and transportation difficulties. And full of questions with no one to ask for answers. That's all about to change, thanks to Seasonal Connect. Seasonal Connect unites complementary businesses with the workers they need and the professional services that make everything run smoothly. You'll receive help finding in-country recruiting partners, seasonal workers, American and international, solutions for housing, daily transportation, and a smart community of other seasonal employers. Open doors to a new world of solutions for seasonal employers. Contact Seasonal Connect today.
Okay.
If you're a seasonal...
So Carly, you want to just give a little bit more background about us and why we are even remotely qualified to talk about these issues?
Absolutely. So hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us today. And thank you to Karine and Ricardo for having us and putting this all together. My name is Carly Eglin. I am the COO of Seasonal Connect. Keith and I have worked together for about 6 years now. We've worked together in another company that Keith owns, which is an immigration law firm. And so we know all about the seasonal community because of one of our practice areas is a seasonal visa team. And so we work with different organizations that staff seasonally and have different winter and summer seasons, and some of them have both. And so we created Seasonal Connect about a year ago now. And this is something that is really a labor of love for us. And so we both live in Massachusetts, but we work with organizations across the country, and Arizona really is near and dear to both of us. You can see a picture of us in Arizona. I believe that was earlier this year, actually. And we'll talk a little bit more about why we love Arizona so much and why Seasonal Connect is so important and maybe so helpful to Arizona as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Carly, you introduced us really well. You know, I've been working with hospitality organizations now for over a decade. And so much of Seasonal Connect comes from hearing from you and hearing where your problems are and where the gaps have been in the industry. Arizona was literally the first organization that we had circled as one that we wanted to approach. And so that's partly why we're so excited for today, because we knew that we wanted to work with the Lodging and Tourism Association in Arizona. It makes so much sense. On the immigration law firm side, I have so many clients in Arizona in the hospitality industry. But we also have so many members already in Seasonal Connect from Arizona. So, you know, it just makes so much sense for us to be here. And, you know, we look forward to so many more opportunities to work with all of you and come out to Arizona a lot.
So as Keith mentioned earlier, we always like to give a little bit of background and education, and then also talk about some challenges and solutions that we've heard from Seasonal Connect members and some hospitality organizations along the way. So as we're seeing right now, there is a long-term problem for the hospitality industry. We're seeing what people are calling the talent trail off. So there has been a 10 to 60% drop in hospitality and tourism programs in the nation's top college programs. Essentially, workers are leaving the hospitality industry. The other fields in the nation have better benefits and higher wages. The workers in hospitality aren't forgetting the rush to terminate and furlough them during the pandemic. And they're really disinterested in hospitality roles, especially the younger generation. People are really looking for that gig economy. I think with the pandemic, people want more flexibility in their schedules. They want control over how they're working, where they're working, when they're working. And hospitality doesn't always offer that. They require weekends, long hours, and a more steady schedule. So that gig economy is really desirable, and people are moving away from hospitality because of that. So we're going to show you a video that kind of highlights that, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
I drop off and pick up my kids from school, so I can't work early or late. And I need to make enough to make it worthwhile.
I can only work 2 days a week, and it can't interfere with my other job.
I can do full-time, just not daytime, and I need benefits. Good ones.
And you know, it'd be nice if you paid for my tuition, like all of it.
So as you're seeing, companies
drop
like
off and
Amazon, DoorDash, and many others are creating this gig economy where there's a lot of flexibility. They're filling those big asks from workers on, you know, working nighttime, working 2 days a week, giving them the ability to work multiple jobs, not working weekends, working, you know, 2 hours here, 3 hours there. And for hospitality, that's not really a possibility, just given the level of client service that you all provide. Going hand in hand with that, we wanted to give you an update on American workers. They're very hard to find, as I'm sure you're all seeing. There's also an unwillingness to perform the jobs in hospitality because of that gig economy and multiple other reasons. Many employers are offering them multiple incentives to come to interviews, to accept the jobs, to refer other employees, and to stay on in their current roles. These American workers have very high expectations for higher wages, and employers are looking at outside the box ideas. So they're looking at populations that they may not have considered otherwise or pre-pandemic. So populations like veterans, differently abled people, retirees, recently incarcerated people, and others.
And what's so hard for so many of you is that it's the situation that we're in has really led so many of you to start considering or continue to considering international workers. So for so many of you, you've been bringing people over on J-1 visas for 4 months or for the longer intern period of 12 to 18 months, or you file for H-2B workers where you bring them in for your season. And I know personally, we've seen so many more organizations throughout Arizona, whether it's in the Grand Canyon area, Flagstaff, and in the Valley, in other areas as well, using H-2Bs. The issue is that it has been the hardest 3 months that I think, or sorry, 3 months, that has been the hardest 3 years in immigration law history that I think has ever existed. Between COVID and some of the Trump administration initiatives, it essentially shut down a lot of the programs in essence, or made it just so hard to staff. So luckily things are moving forward in some ways in a better way, and in other ways there are still some hurdles in the way, whether it's the new vaccination requirement for people coming in that's kicking off in about a week, whether it's delays at consulates and embassies to bring in J-1 visa holders or H-2B visa holders, or whether it's the really difficult recruiting market that's also causing issues with the numerical cap and the limitation on how many visas are issued for H-2Bs. So international workers are attractive because they want to do the job and it actually fills the needs. But especially if your summer season start date or the spring summer, it is a very difficult landscape. So it's a solution, but it's not fully solving the problem due to so many of the issues that linger on with international workers. So we know we're preaching to the choir here, but in terms of what we're hearing from our members at Seasonal Connect, with the biggest issues facing all of you, recruiting seems to be first and foremost. I think that if I had to sum up what I hear about pretty much on the hour every day, it's about staffing hurdles and issues, including people not showing up for interviews or applying for jobs. I mean, it's just it feels so barren, and it just feels like, where are they? And that's why we put that Amazon commercial in, because I think we found some of them, and they're working at Amazon. But wages are also a big issue right now. And I know a lot of you have already raised your wages, but it doesn't always do the trick. It's a lot more than just about wages. Housing and transportation is a big issue for so many of you specifically. Arizona's tough. You have very, very expensive housing markets. You have a very large area to cover wherever you are. And the housing just isn't there. And the public transportation isn't there either, which makes it so difficult for so many of you. I just saw in the chat box, Matt said housing is a big issue. I think this is what, when we were creating Seasonal Connect, and Carly and I, one of the reasons why we put housing in is specifically because of Arizona. Retention is a big issue too. Everyone's hearing about the great, what's it called? The Great Talent Trail off the Great. I'm missing
the
it.
Talent Trail.
Yeah. Where you have, like, not only the hourly workers leaving, but you have some managers leaving as well. And the Great Resignation is what I was trying to think of. Immigration hurdles I just covered. Competition from others that can offer year-round. So if you're truly seasonal, like we see this a lot, like around certain parts of the state, that can be really hard because organizations that can offer year-round jobs definitely make it harder for the seasonal ones. Finding those career hourly workers. I remember about 15 years ago, I went to a presentation here about how there was concern already about people leaving the hourly jobs and leaving the trades, and how there's so much emphasis on going to college and getting a white collar job that it was really going to lead to a problem. Well, here we are, and that's a very big problem. Internal competition from other departments, especially if you're a bigger property. It's hard enough when you're recruiting, when you're facing challenges from others, when you're facing challenges from those within your organization, you're in trouble. And I was at a big ski area conference about a couple of months ago, and that was one of the big complaints from a lot of them, is that they were competing with themselves. Perks don't seem as important. The workers are definitely wise to the fact that it's, they can make a lot more money than anything that a perk is going to make up for. Remote locations, there are so many places in Arizona that are remote, including some resorts, even near the valley, that I would say are very remote. One time I was very recently, it was right before the pandemic, I got very lost in the desert trying to go to one of our clients that was right outside of Scottsdale. I thought I was never going to make it back to civilization, but for them, being remote is a really big challenge, because not only is there no housing, but like there's just nothing out by them. And to say the least, COVID has been a big issue for all of us over the last many years and continues to be.
So now that we've bummed you all out a little bit, let's talk about solutions. And some of these came directly from our members, and these are things that we're hearing kind of through the grapevine in the hospitality industry. So some employers are offering paychecks the same week as when an employee starts, so they can have that money in hand sooner. And a lot of people are very happy with that. They're offering bigger bonuses to sign on employees, to get them to stay, and to refer other employees. One great idea we heard from a member was offering to provide food for workers and their families, usually up to a family of 4, once a week. And so this was a great way to do something nice for the workers that really showed them they were appreciated and valued, and kind of took a cost off of the worker. And it was something they look forward to. Some employers have resorted to paying people to show up for interviews just to walk through the door. Some are reaching out to organizations such as AARP. We've heard recently that a lot of employees are building housing, and not only building housing, but collaborating with others in their area to build housing together, which has been huge. Offering benefits to seasonal workers, which many people do already, but really looking at their benefits package and revamping that and really making sure that it's competitive, and maybe offering new benefits. Intercompany moving of workers, so moving them around to different departments, exposing them to new training and new experiences, so they're getting new challenges. Running shuttles to local areas so that the workers are more exposed to what's around your organization and allowing them to do things outside of work. Employers are also looking at alternative ways to operate, so offering things like food trucks and food stations and limited housekeeping. They're also turning to more teaching and training. So one member mentioned that they were having their line cooks actually show their servers what training they do and how to cook a meal. And the servers got some food out of it. So it was a nice way to show them kind of the bigger picture, but also some food, which everyone likes. And then Seasonal Connect. So we'll start kind of teaching you what Seasonal Connect is all about and how that can be a solution for you as well.
Yeah, and as we transition to talking about Seasonal Connect, one of the things that we're going to talk about is the community element. And these ideas, so many of them came through a lot of the initiatives that we do to connect the members to one another. We've found that having collaboration is huge, and it gives people ideas. This idea of having this member that Carly was just referring to, where they have these international cooks and having food demonstrations where they don't need servers because they can't find servers, and having people come up and watch the cooking and then bring the food back. That was shared by one of the Seasonal Connect members, and then a lot of the others said, oh, we could do that too. So the ideas don't just come from us, they come from each other, and it's a big central part of what we're trying to do every day at Seasonal Connect. So let's actually talk about why I think a lot of you are here, which is you're craving a solution to the issues of staffing, housing, and just, I think, operational support. So we talked a little bit about this before. Seasonal Connect is an idea that we have had for many years, and it took a global pandemic where we couldn't travel to give us the time to put this together. The idea came from you guys, very, very sincerely. It came from us going to meetings with clients from the immigration law firm. We do a lot of public speaking, a lot of speaking at national and regional conferences. I've spoken countless times in Arizona at different conferences, and listening to what people needed and what they were asking for without necessarily realizing what they were asking for. When Carly and I started working on it, one of the best things that we did is we put together a focus group of organizations that range from large to small and all over the country, including in Arizona. What that allowed us to do, I think, in hindsight, was get it right the first time. And what you'll see when we show it to you is that it's very easy to use, but it's also very impactful. It's a tool for both finding American workers and international workers. It's a tool to help you find housing and daily transportation options. It's a tool to help you solve problems. but it's a tool that really was created by you. And we thank you for that, because by sharing with us, we've been able to really create this tool. Seasonal Connect is still a baby. I keep saying Carly and I are not married. We both are married to other people, but this is our pandemic baby, and it's still a baby. It's about 3 months old since we went live, but we purposely waited to roll this out with you all today until we knew that it worked. And not only do we know that it works from a technology standpoint, but we know that it actually works from an it works. It fills the need that I think a lot of you are working for. So it's a good timing. We know that we've worked through the few bugs that we had. We're already kind of onto Seasonal Connect 2.0. But you know, as we're talking, just understand it's still our little pandemic baby, and we're hoping that you can help us raise this baby with us, if I'm going to continue this metaphor. So let's talk about what's within Seasonal Connect. So these are the features of Seasonal Connect. We're going to talk very high level now, and then we're going to actually show it to you right after this. So the first part is this employer search, and this is where Seasonal Connect started. And also, I think this is where the future of hospitality staffing is for at least the foreseeable future. Seasonal Connect is it's the first time that you can search for opposite season employers to recruit with. Now, I know your seasons are getting longer. I don't want to, I don't, that isn't lost on us. The pandemic alone definitely made the season longer, and the Arizona season was already pretty long anyway, regardless of which season you're in. But there are a lot of organizations within Seasonal Connect that are already members that don't have such long seasons. So what Seasonal Connect allows you to do is to actually do a real comprehensive search. You can do a very simple search with very few search terms or no search terms whatsoever, or you could do a very detailed search where you could put in up to about 100 search criteria to find your perfect match. When you do that, what it does is it gives you this directory of all these other organizations that are looking to partner with you. Now, when Seasonal Connect started, our thought was, and I'm saying this as an immigration lawyer, was that for those of you that do H-2Bs, it would give you a real opportunity to find other organizations to transfer your H-2B workers back and forth. If you do H-2Bs, in my opinion, Seasonal Connect is a no-brainer. You should do it. It's going to give you everything you need and more. That being said, this is what has been very, very wonderful about Seasonal Connect. And this is where I say that this is where the future of hospitality is going. What we've been witnessing is Seasonal Connect members are partnering with one another to start discussing and to discuss and to actually present to American workers about transferring those American workers between seasons. So all of you are right now banging your head against the walls because there are no American workers in your markets that aren't currently working or aren't currently working for you. What Seasonal Connect allows you to do is to find other employers where people are actively doing those jobs. They're actively housekeeping, they're actively cooking, dishwashing, serving, busing, running, front desk, whatever it might be. You can find those people who are doing those jobs and you can bring them into Arizona, or you can bring them to your part of Arizona because they might already be in your state because your state has both seasons. The other thing that this allows you to do is the amount of data in here is huge. So what this allows you to do is you can search an immense amount of data and find out what are people doing about housing, what are people doing about wages, and so on. And you can search by location, you can search by industry, and all of these other things. So that's the first piece of Seasonal Connect.
The second piece is the seasonal worker search. So outside of those partnerships that Keith was talking about, there's a couple ways to reach the seasonal workers that came to the platform independently. So you can post jobs on your employer profile, which we will show you in a little bit. And workers can go in and search for you as the employer and apply to those jobs. You can actually link to your own job board or Indeed or your website, or they can apply right through Seasonal Connect. You can also use the search for the seasonal workers to do a basic search, as Keith mentioned in the employer search, it's very similar, or use the advanced search to really drill down into the kind of worker that you're looking for, American, H-2B, J-1, whether they're willing to relocate, what state they're in, if they're outside of the country, what country they're in. And and search for that worker. And then you can reach out to them based on their profile. So their profile really highlights them and their experience. You can download their resume. Their contact information is on there. They can list their skills, their education, their certifications that they have, and a myriad of other things that we'll show you in a little bit.
So the next feature, I think this is actually the most ambitious from what we've seen, is the housing piece. So what we are doing in Seasonal Connect is we're trying to help you find seasonal housing in your area. The way that we're doing this is there's a few different ways. Number one is we're trying to work with getting rental properties from your area into the system. We're allowing landlords, property owners, commercial real estate properties, all of them to put their property in. Now, if you have a worker, if you have employee housing and you have someone that leaves early, or you don't fill all your spots or all of your housing, you could also put your own housing on here. Now, I said this at the beginning, housing is by far the most ambitious thing, right? We launched a national platform and we have members in just about every part of the country right now, including outside of the continental US. So what's ambitious about this is that we have to find housing in all of those areas. What we've committed to is if you join under our current structure, right? Meaning, like, at some point, I don't know that this will be the case, but for right now it is. If there's not housing in your area, we will help you find it. Meaning if there's no housing on Seasonal Connect that comes up when you do a search, we will help you find it. And we have staffed ourselves in a way that we can do that.
Similarly, daily transportation is also a large piece of this that is ambitious, just given that this is a national platform. So whether you're looking for public or private transportation to get your workers to and from work every day, Seasonal Connect can help you find that. This is something too that members have talked about collaborating on, especially if your organizations are nearby to one another. But again, if you're unable to find daily transportation in your area, we have staffed appropriately to be able to be on the ground and looking for this on your behalf.
So this is the big part of Seasonal Connect, right? What we've done is between staffing, finding other employers, finding the workers directly, housing and daily transportation, you have four directories to search from within Seasonal Connect. In our experience and in our opinion, unless you have a community to really help you, those don't go as far as they could. And so what we've done is we have a ton of community initiatives, and Carly's going to talk about the events momentarily, but we give you all of these opportunities to find, create, and foster this community. We tell this story a lot, and I think it actually really resonates in Arizona because you actually have a bunch of parks in the area. But we did an event previously where we had a very national ski area attend, and then we had a national park there. The national park had never been fully staffed. They were running into wage limitations because under the federal contract, they could only go to a certain amount. And the ski area was one that was very coveted. A lot of organizations reached out to the ski area and still reach out to the ski area because they want to partner with them. Being in the same room allowed these two properties, their HR people, to really connect and really form a friendship. And also for the HR people to feel like they had a lot of common similarities between the two properties and how they approach things from a staffing standpoint, from an HR philosophy, and all of that. Following that event, that was the first time that the national park was fully staffed because of that relationship. And that's what we're trying to do with the community element with Seasonal Connect. We do a lot of different things with that. We have a really robust message board that you can search from and create subcategories with. So you could create like a Sedona group, right? Or you can get even more specific, a Sedona lodging group or a Sedona tourism group, whatever you want to do. But that's one piece of it. The other piece is what Carly's going to talk about, which is the events.
So with our events, we do multiple kinds of events. Currently, many of them are virtual, just given the pandemic. But we also are doing multiple in-person events as well. So starting with the virtual events, we do roundtables every 3 weeks on Tuesdays. And these roundtables are on Zoom. What we do is we do an introduction and a quick update on what's going on with the platform and where we kind of are. And then what we do is we put employers into breakout rooms. And so these breakout rooms are about 4 or 5 contacts from different organizations. We give you a topic to discuss, although you're welcome to veer off course if you have more pressing things on your mind. And you're in that room with people from opposite seasons. So it's a great way to be face-to-face with other people and get to know them and really bond and create those friendships and those partnerships so that you can recruit from one another and transfer workers, when their season ends and your season begins, and vice versa. For the in-person events, we're planning to do many events throughout the course of the year. One of which will be in Arizona, if not more, each year. And so for the in-person events, we're planning to make them 2 or 3 days, and they'll be focusing on education and networking. So some of it will be education, where we'll have guest speakers and panelists, and you'll hear about staffing, housing, daily transportation. But a large part of it is networking. So we'll put you in breakout rooms or breakout groups. We'll do cocktail hours, and then we'll do fun things like recreational activities. So one event that we're planning that's coming up is going to be in January of 2022 in Big Sky, Montana, hopefully. And the recreational activities we're talking about doing are either skiing or snowmobiling. So in Arizona, those activities would vary and be different, but they're a great way to kind of get out of your seats, not be just spoken to or lectured or, educated from a standard sense, but able to really bond over something a little more enjoyable and fun, and create those partnerships.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you into Seasonal Connect. One thing is that you should know is we do full demos every Wednesday and Friday. We actually have our next demo tomorrow at Carly. What time is it tomorrow? Is it 3 o'clock?
I believe it's 2 o'clock. I'll check really quickly. The demo tomorrow is at 2 Eastern.
So 2 o'clock Eastern time. So if any of you are interested in seeing more of this and have me slow down while we show it to you, just drop us a note, and we'll have our emails up in a moment, but we're happy to have you join and answer all of your questions as we go through it then. But in the spirit of getting through and leaving time for questions, I'm going to go through this relatively quickly and show you some high level stuff. So the first thing that we always show is, this is the main page. This is seasonalconnect.com. I've been watching. I know a lot of you already have gone to this and gone here, and I appreciate so much interest already. But this is where the workers go. Workers go in for free. There's never a charge to any worker. They get their own unique username and password, and that allows them to build out a profile that also allows us to search them. And we'll show you that when we go into it in a second. I'm going to log in as if I'm one of you, so as if I'm an organization. Now, what you're seeing right now, this is not a demo, this is the real platform. So just keep that in mind, that it works how I'm showing you, because this is it. So this is the main landing page for employers. You have the quick links up here into the different features that we've covered. You have the events here where you can see upcoming events for the community element. And then we always feature an employer down here. I'm going to cover the costs in a moment, but one of the things that you'll hear from us is that there are no extra costs. We don't charge any extra fees to be featured here. We just run through the group. Each week we feature a different employer. There's no extra cost for posting jobs. There's no extra cost for posting jobs. There's no extra cost per user. It's just based on a monthly fee that is based on the size of your property or organization. So as Carly was saying, I'm going to go in here first. There's 3 different ways to reach out to a worker, to find a worker. You could go to the worker directly. And again, based on when they go in and they create their profile, they designate what are they looking for, what industry, what position, meaning what category. Are there certain keywords, like are they looking to be a busser? Are they looking to be a host, and so on. You can also do more filters, and you can pick people that are currently here. If you do visas, you could pick outside the United States. You could find Americans, you can find international workers. You can find people who are already in Arizona or in other areas. And then if you do visas, you could search by citizenship or birth country as well. Once you do the search, I just have to move over the Zoom page. Once you do the search, it spits this out. And this is where you can bookmark people right from here. You can see their names, where they're located, if they need visa sponsorship, what position they're looking for. You can download their resume right from this page, or you can link right into their profile page. I'll show you their profile page in a moment, but for now, just know that you can go right to their pages from this. So that's one way to get to the workers, is going directly into them. The second way is by listing jobs. And I'm gonna click for a moment on here. I'll go back to that in a second, but I'm gonna click on here. And you can see this is an employer profile page, and you can post jobs right on your page. The workers can then search for you and search for jobs and apply for jobs right through the platform. You can show if you want the workers inside the US, outside the US. You can also designate, do you want the workers to be American? Do you want them to be international? Do you not care? And again, the workers can apply right for that. So the second way to get to the workers is by posting jobs within the platform and getting there that way. The third way is going employer to employer. So if you do the employer search, this is where you can find opposite season employers. And so again, you can look for industry of the other employer, that you can put in a keyword of a job title, you can search by category, or you can click more filters. And this is also where the amount of data is huge, where that you can search from. But you can look for winter season or summer season, or a lot of organizations also are dual season. You can see what organizations are doing about wages and housing. You can see what they're doing about transportation. You can see about job requirements. So let's say that you want your servers to have 6 months of experience, you would check off that box. You can see other things too. Do they do background tests? Do they require driver's license, right? Some of you might need your housekeepers to have driver's licenses to get between buildings. You can also look based on the size of the staff of either year-round or seasonal to try to find the right fit for you. Once you do the search, it spits out the employer, where they're located, what type of industry they're in, their busy season, and then you can link right into their profile. Within the profile, we really try to allow you as an organization and the workers to highlight yourselves and really show people who you are. Because remember, both the workers are seeing this and the employers are seeing this. Again, you can post jobs on this, you can post photos and videos. You get this big banner here. You can also make this a video, or it can be a rotating pictures. You can put your logo, and then you can put a fun fact or something about the organization, just to give you a little bit more, to give people a little bit more insight into what you are. If you're part of a bigger hospitality organization or a bigger company, you can also show what you're part of. So if you're part of a management company, or you have a bunch of other affiliate properties, you could put the bigger company here to market that as well. Within the profile, you see what they are, what season they are, what industry, the services, what positions. Also, you can put your actual busy dates, like, for example, October 1st through Mother's Day. You can see where the organization is, the website, social media platforms, and then about them. Going back to this, housing and daily transportation, very similar with searches. The housing looks a lot like a
MLS listing.
An MLS, thanks, Carly. And the transportation is more of a listing, but again, based on what you're looking for, or national. This is going away. This is going to be replaced by a Find Your Match. This is where we're already in version 2.0, but you'll be able to put in a job, and you can either pick another employer or a worker, and it will randomly pop that up based on what you're looking for. The only other thing that I wanted to show you before we go back to the PowerPoint is the bookmarks. So everything that you can bookmark, you can export right into Excel, but you can bookmark employers, the workers, housing, transportation, and events. With the workers, we like to show Christian's profile just because she did such a nice job. Now, she is an international worker, but you can see why we pick her. She did a really nice job with the banner. She did a nice job with having an extra profile photo. You can see what she's doing now, where she's located, and that she's willing to relocate. She can put more photos and videos. You can bookmark her here or report her if she's doing something that she shouldn't be doing on the system. Contact information and information about whether she needs visa sponsorship, information about her and what she's looking for. She can link right into her social media platforms. We want to give you a leg up on recruiting, right? So either she's going to do great here or she might not do so great. And we wanted to give you a little bit of a leg up on recruiting. You can download her resume and then you can see her experience, her education and skills. Finally, going up here, you can privately rate the worker. Now, this isn't publicly available within the platform because we don't want to ever prejudice someone if they had a bad experience with one employer. But if you're part of a bigger company, you would see this across all of the affiliate companies within that portfolio. But what we want to do is allow you to rate them privately and make a note so that you can, again, be a little bit ahead in the future. The final thing is you can make her an offer right through the platform. And if Christian accepts, you get notified that she's accepted. And once she accepts, it blocks her from looking for any more positions for that season. So we're trying to prevent the workers from job hopping once they've accepted an offer. And if she unaccepts because she wants to start looking again for that season, you're also notified. All right, Carly, anything to add before I go back to the PowerPoint?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. So again, if any of you want a longer demo of the software, just let us know. We are more than happy to have you come to one of our upcoming demos. And if those times don't work for you, we can always do a private one as well. So in summary of the features, Seasonal Connect is here for you to find seasonal American workers, hire seasonal international workers who are H-2Bs and J-1s, post job opportunities, partner with other employers from around the US to transfer American and international workers between seasons. I cannot stress this enough. This is one of the biggest pieces of Seasonal Connect that allows you to find people actively doing these jobs who want to do these jobs. You can also locate seasonal housing, find daily transportation. The community is incredible with Seasonal Connect. It is so active, both from the employer side and from the worker side. And then you get to attend virtual and in-person events to learn and to collaborate and to network and recruit.
So just a quick update on where we are today. We have about 275 employers or organizations in here and growing rapidly across all seasons with hundreds of workers that they each bring to the platform. We have over 3,500 workers that come independently to the platform and are looking for jobs. Employers are getting flooded with interested in qualified candidates and applications. The platform is truly revolutionizing seasonal staffing. So employers are finding workers actively employed who want to come work for them for the next season. They really are filling positions, and we're hearing success stories from them about, filling entire positions. We heard from someone the other day how they filled 50 housekeeper positions and got a standing ovation in their staffing meeting, and many other stories like that. And as Keith mentioned, we do have a very active community of employers that are participating in the events and really communicating with one another and collaborating.
So the next slide is talking about our affiliation with the association. Before I do that, I wanted to show you the pricing, because when I show you the pricing, there is a but, because we're giving a discount to the Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association. But here's what the pricing is. And what you will find with us is we are some of the most transparent and open people because we don't want to hide anything. So what you can see is it's based on the industry, and then it's based on the size. So you can see here, if you're in lodging, which I think almost all of you are, you're down here, right? And now remember, this is your seasonal workers who are, this is your seasonal workforce. So if they're American or international. So for example, let's say you have 25 seasonal workers each year, you would fall into this pricing category right here, okay? Now, a couple of things on this. Number one is if you have multiple properties within your portfolio, you pay what we ask is that you pay full price for the first property and then half price for each additional one, okay? So you get 50% off every property after the first. The second thing is if you have multiple properties, you only pay a one-time $1,500 setup fee for all of them. So it's not per property, it's $1,500 total. a lot of you are going to fall into here, just based on what we've seen, into either the $199 a month or $250 a month. One of the questions that I told you we would answer now is whether we guarantee placements. And the answer to that is no. And it's for a simple reason. We are not recruiters. We purposely name the company Seasonal Connect because we're connectors. We're connecting you to opportunities to find staff. We're connecting you to find opportunities to find housing, transportation, other employers. We're relying on you to participate. And if you're not, we can't guarantee anything, but they're not our workers. They're going to go onto your payroll. We're the furthest thing from recruiters. What Carly just said is really important though. We are now into this enough that we're hearing the successes and we're not hearing the complaints. And what we're hearing is that people are finding workers. Not only did that employer find, I think it was like almost 50 dishwashers in like 2 days and got a standing ovation, but she found 50 dishwashers in 2 days. We had another organization that found 75 housekeepers and like 26 line cooks in 3 days. People are finding workers, and you just have to participate. As I was saying before, there are no extra fees within the platform. So what you're seeing here is what you pay. There's no extra cost to advertise jobs. You can post as many jobs as you want, as many times as you want. You can have as many login credentials as you want. You can look for as many housing opportunities as you want. There's no extra fees. It's all within the monthly charges. Now, in addition to that, you get more money off. And that's why I wanted to show you that there. So we are so excited to partner with you guys. In addition to those fees, on top of what I just said, you get 10% off. Basically, as long as the partnership is in existence. So there's the discount code. It's AZLTA, Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association 21. If you put that in at checkout, you'll get the 10% off of the monthly fees. Okay. Now, this is so much more than just a discount in terms of our partnership. We are really committed to being very close friends with all of you. And so we're going to do that with not only offering a discount, but also we will always be doing an in-person Seasonal Connect conference in Arizona. And we're starting to work with Karine and with Ricardo on that now. What that's going to look like is it's going to be open the first day to anyone within Arizona Lodging and Tourism Association. And then the second and third day will be only Seasonal Connect members. What's really cool about this, though, is we're going to be flying in the Seasonal Connect members from other states into Arizona for this. Now, if you say, how do I get out of Arizona? We can help you with that too, because we're having conferences in California, Utah, Florida,
Alaska.
We're doing our first one actually in Montana this year. So there's going to be ample opportunities to also go elsewhere, but we are trying to bring the world to you. That being said, Arizona, we're also trying to facilitate a lot of the connections within the state. And so where you have Sedona and you have Flagstaff and you have the Grand Canyon up north, which is kind of the biggest seasonal areas that we seem to see. And then you have the Valley and Mesa and Tucson and other areas down south. We're really trying to facilitate those connections where you can actually send workers back and forth without them ever leaving the state of Arizona. Education is core to what we do. We're going to give you every opportunity in the world to learn about all things seasonal and all things operational and staffing and housing and transportation related, and give you access to data which will further those educational opportunities. And as I said, we're looking to bring everyone to you, the world, the country, us. We can't wait.
So Keith kind of touched upon this a second ago, but essentially Arizona is such a great fit for Seasonal Connect because you have different seasons right within your own state. You can make these transfers, you can have these partnerships within the state of Arizona. Of course, you can go outside of the state for that if you'd like to, but these people are right in your backyard, and all kinds of perks come with that. Travel for these workers is less expensive. You can meet up with your partners, you can have a closer relationship with them, and a myriad of other things. So Arizona really is a special place. It's a great place for this. And that's something that's so important. So if you'd like to sign up, you can go to seasonalconnect.com. Don't forget to use that code AZLTA21 at checkout. If you'd like to get the 10% off your monthly fees, we would love to have you join the community. And we're just so excited to partner with AZLTA.
Yeah, and if you want to join any of the demos where we don't rush through in 5 minutes, just send us an email and we'll get you the Zoom link to join. But we're also happy to answer any questions now. So we have 7 minutes left in our time. And you can feel free to write in your questions in the Q&A or the chat box, but we are happy to answer any and all questions about the platform or what we're seeing in the world of staffing and housing and immigration and all of that. But make sure you get your questions answered because we're here and we want to help. And while we're waiting for you to write in any questions, just again, a huge thank you to AZLTA. We are so excited to be part of your family and community. And I know I am just so excited to see where this goes and how we can really help shape and help figure out solutions for so many of you that are struggling right now.
And we are just so excited to get back out to Arizona and meet all of you and get to know more about your organizations as well. Oh, it looks like we have a question in the chat.
That was an accident.
So it looks like Reagan is saying, could a local hospitality association help small businesses with the costs such as a setup fee?
Yes, is our answer. I think, Reagan, I think it depends on what you're thinking. I know that has been proposed in certain areas that we've talked to. So I would say if that's something of interest to you, if you want to connect with us and connect with that local association, we're happy to have that conversation.
Great question. Any other questions?
The other thing while we're waiting is, Carly, you mentioned this before, and I wanted to just highlight this. We are seeing, as we're talking to more and more organizations, especially in Arizona, because this is actually where we were talking, Carly and I were talking at a conference and this came up, where there are some smaller organizations or where there's a cluster of you all in the same spot, we could also help to facilitate the housing or transportation for you. Meaning that, you know, if you all work together, and I think there's ample opportunity in so many areas of where your organizations are, we could be the thing that brings you together to help to put all of your workers in a local housing thing and then run a shuttle to all of your properties. So that's also something that we can help with, and we would love to talk to you about, because I've been saying that to a lot of the organizations in Arizona for years, that if they work together, it would make some of the issues much more tolerable. Carly, I saw Lori ask, what's the term of the contract?
Sure. So Lori, the term of the contract is it's annual, so it's 12 months, but there is a 90-day opt-out. So you can get out with 90 days if you'd like. Our goal is always to give you value. We want you to enjoy Seasonal Connect. And so if you're not finding value, you can give us 90 days notice and be out of the platform.
Yeah, thanks for asking questions, everybody. Sometimes on these webinars, you don't get a ton of questions, so it's nice to hear from everybody. That being said, I'm not seeing any more questions. So I think we can wrap up. If any of you have any questions whatsoever after this, please feel free to reach out to us. We are always available, and we really are committed to this partnership. So a huge thank you to all of you for joining. It's, I think, the first time I've ever been live streamed on Facebook, Carly. I don't know about you.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. I don't think I have either, but I do really appreciate all of you for joining. I'm excited to work with all of you, and just a huge thank you again to Karine and Ricardo for setting this up. We're excited to partner with you.
All right, so wishing all of you a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and a huge thanks again.
All right, take care, everyone.